Exercise 13.3, we're now going to divide with common fractions. The first number, they ask you to give the multiplicative inverse of the following numbers or fractions. So what you're going to do is, you're going to just switch the numerator and the denominator around. So at 1.4, they ask you 3 over 4. So 3 over 4 will change into 4 over 3. 1.5, 7 over 10 will be 10 over 7. 43 over 50 will change to 50 over 43. 1.5, you first need to convert it to an improper fraction. That will be 3 over 2, and then you're going to switch it around. It will be 2 over 3. Number 2, you need to simplify the following. When you divide with a common fraction, you're not going to divide, you're going to multiply. You're going to use the inverse and you're going to multiply. So you're not going to say divide by a half. You're going to multiply with 2 over 1. So you're going to say 2 over 1 times 2 over 1, or just 2 times 2 will give you 4. 2.2. 3 divided by a quarter. So what you're going to do is, you're going to use the inverse and you're going to multiply. So 1 over 4 will change into 4 over 1. So you're going to say 3 over 1 times 4 over 1, or just 3 times 4, and that will give you 12. Nine divided by 3 over 4. You're going to change the 3 over 4 to 4 over 3, and you're going to multiply with the 4 over 3. So it's going to be 9 times 4 over 3. You can simplify the 9 and the 3 by dividing by 3. So 9 divided by 3 gives you 3, and 3 divided by 3 gives you 1. So now you sit with 3 over 1 times 4 over 1, or just 3 times 4, and that gives you 12. Eight divided by 1 1/3. The first thing you need to do is convert the mixed number to an improper fraction. So now you're going to divide with 4 over 3. You're going to use the inverse. So the 4 over 3 will change to 3 over 4. And you're going to multiply now with 3 over 4. You can simplify the 8 and the 4 by dividing by 4. So 8 divided by 4 gives you 2. 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. So now you sit with 2 over 1 times 3 over 1, or just 2 times 3. That gives you 6. Number 5, you first need to get rid of the mixed number. So you're actually dividing by 5 over 4. You're not going to divide by 5 over 4. You're looking for the inverse. So you're going to multiply with 4 over 5. You can simplify the 10 and the 5 by dividing by 5. So you'll sit with 2 over 1 times 4 over 1, or just 2 times 4 gives you 8. Number 7, a half divided by 4. You're going to use the inverse. So 4 over 1 will change into 1 over 4. And you're going to multiply by 1 over 4. So a half times a quarter will give you 1 over 8. Number 8, we're dividing by 9. The inverse of 9 over 1 is 1 over 9. So you're going to multiply by 1 over 9. The 3 and the 9 can simplify by dividing it by 3. So now you're sitting with 1 over 4 times 1 over 3, and that gives you 1 over 12. Number 9. Get rid of the mixed number. So that will be 4 over 3 divided by 8 over 1. You're not going to divide by 8 over 1. You're going to use the inverse, and then you're going to multiply by 1 over 8. The 4 and the 8 can simplify by dividing both by 4. So now you sit with 1 over 3 times 1 over 2, and that gives you 1 over 6. Number 10. Get rid of a mixed number. So it's 21 over 5 divided by 7 over 1. We're not going to divide by 7 over 1. You're going to use the inverse, and you're going to multiply with the inverse. So you're going to say 21 over 5 times 1 over 7. The 21 and the 7 can simplify by dividing both by 7. So now you sit with 3 over 5 times 1 over 1. That gives you a final answer of 3 over 5. We're now going to divide a fraction by a fraction. You're still going to use the inverse, and you're going to multiply with the inverse. So if you divide by 3 over 2, you're going to use the inverse, which is 3 over 2, and you're going to multiply with it. So it's going to be 1 over 4 times 3 over 2. You can't simplify, so you're going to multiply the 1 by 3 and multiply the 4 by 2. So your final answer will be 3 over 8. Number 2, we're now dividing by 5 over 6. You're looking for the inverse, which is 6 over 5, and you're going to multiply with 6 over 5. You can simplify the 3 and the 6 by dividing both by 3. So then you'll find 2 over 1 times 2 over 5. Now you can't simplify any further, so you're going to multiply 2 by 2, which gives you 4, and 1 times 5 gives you 5. Number 3, we're dividing by 8 over 3. The inverse of 8 over 3 is 3 over 8. So you're going to multiply with 3 over 8. You can simplify. If you look at the 3 and the 9, you can divide both by 3. Then you'll find it is 4 over 3 times 1 over 8. But the 4 and the 8 can also be simplified by dividing it by 4. So now you sit with 1 over 3 times 1 over 2. 1 times 1 gives you 1. 3 times 2 gives you 6. So your final answer is 1 over 6. Number 4, we're dividing by 3 over 4. The inverse is 4 over 3. So we're going to multiply by 4 over 3. You see if there's any simplification that you can do. You can divide the 4 and the 6 by 2. So then you'll sit with 5 over 3 times 2 over 3. You cannot simplify it any further. So you're going to multiply the 5 by 2, which gives you 10. And then multiply the 3 by 3, gives you 9. And then you just need to take it back to a mixed number, which is 1 and 1 over 9. Number 5, we're dividing by 5 over 8. The inverse of 5 over 8 is 8 over 5. So you're going to multiply by 8 over 5. You can simplify the 8s by dividing both of them by 8. So you'll sit with 3 over 1 times 1 over 5. That will give you an answer of 3 over 5. Number 6, we're dealing with a mixed number, so you must first convert it to an improper fraction. Then we're dividing it by a half. The inverse of 1 over 2 is 2 over 1. So you're going to multiply 3 over 2 by 2 over 1. You can simplify the 2's by dividing both of them by 2. And then you sit with 3 over 1 times 1 over 1, or just 3 times 1, which will give you 3. Number 7, convert it to improper fractions. So it's going to be 4 over 3 divided by 5 over 3. We're dividing by 5 over 3, so the inverse will be 3 over 5. So you're going to multiply 4 over 3 with 3 over 5. The 3's can cancel each other out or be simplified by dividing both of them by 3. So now you sit with 4 over 1 times 5 over 1, and that will give you 4 over 5. Number 8, convert it to improper fractions. So it's going to be 5 over 2 divided by 4 over 3. The inverse of 4 over 3 is 3 over 4. So you're going to multiply 5 over 2 with 3 over 4. You can't simplify, so you're going to say 5 times 3 gives you 15. 2 times 4 gives you 8. And then take it back to a mixed number, which is 1 and 7 over 8. Number 9, convert it to improper fractions. It's 11 over 2 divided by 3 over 2. The inverse of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. So you're going to multiply 11 over 2 by 2 over 3. The 2's can be simplified by dividing both by 2. So 11 over 1 times 1 over 3 will give you 11 over 3. Take it back to a mixed number. So it will be 3 and 2/3. Number 10, convert it to improper fractions. So it's going to be 17 over 8 divided by 5 over 4. The inverse of 5 over 4 is 4 over 5. So you're going to multiply the 17 over 8 with 4 over 5. The 4 and the 8 can simplify by dividing both by 4. So now you sit with 17 over 2 times 1 over 5. 17 times 1 is 17. 2 times 5 gives you 10. And if you take it back to a mixed number, you're going to sit with 1 and 7 over 10.